So rather than voicing your own opinions, I think there's a bigger issue that's at play at the moment, is the fact that perhaps people aren't necessarily allowed to say what they feel or what they believe is their truth without the fear of actually getting cancelled, deplatformed, or better yet, called foul over, simply because of they're having a differentiating point of view than the person or than the other opposition, or whoever it may be. And I think that there is perhaps an issue that we need to address now, otherwise it may fall over and we may lose the beauty of being able to discuss and have differing points and be able to change our minds because of it. Now again, there's many times over when I've grown up where I've felt, perhaps even offended because, I added emotion to sort of a hot conversation or hot topic that I was having with either a family member, a friend, whoever it may be. And being able to, over time learn and also have more experiences where specifically football, that really puts things into perspective, that having constructive criticisms or having an ability to conversate over differing views is key. And I think that's definitely going to be missed if we were to continue going down this path of not being able to have a civil conversation where two opposing views can really come at it and actually perhaps enlighten one another after it, or better yet, even just give them more food for thought to know that their views is pretty much perhaps confirmed based on that conversation. But not having that debate or not having that conversation is an issue in itself, and I wouldn't know where we'd be, or at least myself, putting it back on me, I wouldn't know where I'd be if I didn't have those type of conversations, if I didn't have that constructive criticism, or better yet, if I didn't have an opposing view change the thoughts that I had when I was younger. And again, that's perhaps even the notion of this video here, is being able to, to encourage these conversations. Having to be fearful of what you can say and how you say it simply because of the thought of being cancelled or being deplatformed in these bigger conversation situations. There's some people who have been deplatformed all throughout the time and throughout the years, and for whatever reason, let's just say from a logistical perspective, an objective perspective, on a platform that's privately owned by a company, whatever says goes. And unfortunately, if it is one of those big titans out there, those big tech companies, and it is within their terms and conditions, unfortunately, they do have the ability to deplatform people. But in saying that though, that also comes from a lot of perhaps momentum and noise that is made from the community out there. So what is interesting though is the fact that, being deplatformed without actually being advised as to why they're being deplatformed is also an issue there. If there is a place or a facility where you're able to have these conversations that are out there in the public opinion, that perhaps may be controlled by the people rather than by private entities or private equity companies or whatever it may be, then that could be cool. But I think there's a bit of an issue at the moment where, because you're having a differing opinion than perhaps most, the fear of being removed or fear of being labelled as hate speech is, it's really going to cause some issues, probably not now, but down the track. And what that sort of tends to happen with any sort of knee-jerk reaction is that it creates these second, third, fourth order consequences. So, and I'm sure that there are way more smarter people than myself out there sort of going through this information, but I see that if there's no space or there's no facility to be able to have these conversations, what harm is it doing to not only ourselves, but also the younger generation, not being able to have their voices heard and not sort of dealt with in a specific manner. So again, that's pretty much the the conversation around this here is to be aware and have these conversations. Don't necessarily have emotions tied into some of these topics out there. Try and remove it and try and come in there with sort of a logical sort of a view, or better yet, not even logical, just an open mind about what the opposition would say and how we can learn some stuff from it. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Have fun with this conversation. Have fun with conversations that you have with other people out there. Make sure that you add value, even if you do believe it is an opposing view. Have that conversation with them. Don't be a dick and let emotions ruin you. Be emotional about the topic, but don't let that ruin your ability to communicate. There's a whole more topic around sort of communication styles and how important it is to convey that message. And perhaps, I've definitely felt times where I've had emotion ruin a really civil conversation because, I couldn't control my emotions. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy this one. I will speak to you guys at the next one. Bye.